Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm bringing you another episode of Poetry Thursday. This one is in response to a request that I received from a subscriber, Rebecca S., who asked if I would read some poems about wisdom or wise people, and I found a bunch that I would like to share. I'm going to start with a poem by the great romantic poet William Wordsworth, and this is entitled "The Tables Turned," in which the speaker urges us to put down our books and put down the trappings of life that sometimes distract us and just go out into the natural world and see what it has to teach us. The tables turned. Up, up, my friend, and quit your books, or surely you'll grow double. Up, up, my friend, and clear your looks. Why all this toil and trouble? The sun above the mountain's head, a freshening luster mellow, through all the long green fields has spread his first sweet evening yellow. Books, 'tis a dull and endless strife. Come, hear the woodland linnet. How sweet his music, on my life, there's more of wisdom in it. And hark, how blithe the throstle sings. He too is no mean preacher. Come forth into the light of things. Let nature be your teacher. She has a world of ready wealth, our minds and hearts to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good, than all the sages can. Sweet is the lore which nature brings, our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous forms of things we murder to dissect. Enough of science and of art. Close up those barren leaves. Come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives. Next, I'm going to read a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. This is a dramatic monologue entitled A Psalm of Life. In this poem, the poet urges us to live in the moment. He says life is not about just getting to the grave. He urges us not to dwell on the past or about worrying about the future, but rather to seize the day and live in the moment when possible. A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, what the heart of the young man said to the psalmist. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream, for the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today. Art is long and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life, be not like dumb, driven cattle. Be a hero in the strife. Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present, heart within and God o'erhead. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another sailing o'er life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing, shall take heart again. Let us then be up and doing, with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing. Learn to labor and to wait. Next, I'd like to read a very famous poem by Rudyard Kipling. This is entitled If. This is a father's advice to his son. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build 'em up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Next, I'd like to read a poem from a contemporary poet who recently passed away, and that's Linda Pastan. And this is her poem entitled Ethics. I think it's the last one of the last poems in this collection. This is a poem about an ethical dilemma. What would you save if there were a fire in a museum, a Rembrandt painting, or an old woman who was near the end of her life? The speaker in the poem sort of ages in the course of the poem. She moves from being a school-aged child herself to the old woman mentioned in the beginning of the poem. Her earlier simplistic responses have now become more mature and are informed by an understanding of the connectedness of all things in life. She's no longer a child contemplating a perhaps absurd hypothetical situation, but rather now she's an old woman herself with a lifetime of experience and hard-earned wisdom. And now she knows that life isn't really about finding definitive answers, but rather about recognizing the inherent value in all things. This is Ethics by Linda Pastan. In ethics class so many years ago, our teacher asked this question every fall. If there were a fire in a museum, which would you save? A Rembrandt painting or an old woman who hadn't many years left anyhow? Restless on hard chairs, caring little for pictures or old age, we'd opt 1 year for life, the next for art, and always half-heartedly. Sometimes the woman borrowed my grandmother's face, leaving her usual kitchen to wander some drafty, half-imagined museum. One year, feeling clever, I replied, "Why not let the woman decide herself?" Linda, the teacher would report, eschews the burdens of responsibility. This fall, in a real museum, I stand before a real Rembrandt, old woman or nearly so myself. The colors within this frame are darker than autumn, darker even than winter. The browns of earth, though earth's most radiant elements burn through the canvas. I know now that woman and painting and season are almost one, and all beyond saving by children. And finally, I'm going to close again with a poem by Mary Oliver. And this is entitled "The World I Live In." This is a very short poem about developing a sense of curiosity and wonder about the world, about being open to the world's mystery, and about celebrating the role of the imagination. The World I Live In by Mary Oliver. I have refused to live locked in the orderly house of reasons and proofs. The world I live in and believe in is wider than that. And anyway, what's wrong with maybe? You wouldn't believe what once or twice I have seen. I'll just tell you this. Only if there are angels in your head will you ever possibly see one. So those are a few poems that I've chosen on what I think is the theme of wisdom. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.